The secret rule of 1200 changed my life forever. Let's take a look. The rule of 1200, same identity and upgrading identity, is the idea that it takes about 1200 hours to be fluent in any language in the world on average. Yeah, it's going to be easier for some, harder for others. But the rule of 1200 that's going to be applying to law of attraction here is for any given language, it takes about 1200 hours to be fluent in it. The language of the universe is vibration, and it's going to take you about 1200 hours to actually be fluent in the language of manifesting or the language of law of attraction. Now, here's where most people are spending their 1200 hours. Let's see if you're in this category or you're in this category. I was in this one, and this is why it changed my life, and I'm going to share some very unique things that shifted my life within the first 30 days of understanding this. Like big things, like having my first $20,000 month when I was struggling at $4,000 to $5,000 within 30 days. A lot of other things I'm going to share here. Most people are putting their 1200 hours into study. And what I mean by study is content, audiobooks, self-help books, like all the hundreds of books that I have. Think and Grow Rich, Power of Subconscious Mind, YouTube videos nonstop, all these different kinds of ideas, okay? So they put 1200 hours into study. And this 1200 hours is focused on the mental plane. On the mental plane, they will start to feel like they are understanding life. They're understanding law of attraction. They're understanding some things. But since they're spending so much time on the mental plane, they know consciously about money, but they're feeling in terms of anti-relationship, just things not working out, anti-desires or intentions not coming forth, and just feeling a lot of lack. So the mental side here is because they're trying to change only their thought level. And they can preach this information. They could probably give me a whole spin on law of attraction. They could probably tell me all about mindset and personal development and how to manifest things or what this is all about, right? They know so much information. But they're putting their 1200 hours into something that's not going to get the result. Now, those people are in the same identity. And that's why they get very frustrated and they say phrases like, law of attraction doesn't work for me. Or they say, I don't understand how to not stop overthinking my desires. Every time I visualize it, I feel good. And then the rest of my day, I'm thinking about how this thing is going to actually happen. It seems impossible. Or overthinking, when is it going to happen? I'm very impatient. I want it tonight. Or where's this thing going to even come from in the first place? Where's this person? Where's this money? It seems like there's an impossible boundary or impossible glass ceiling that they can't blow through. They can't break through. So they're in the same identity, which is the same level of consciousness, which is the same frequency, no matter how much more study they do. So they think their answer is more and more and more and more of this, which creates the same identity, same frequency, and they get super frustrated that things are not working out to what they would like to have happen in their life. Now, what changed my life was I was here consuming so much consumption. And I'm going to go ahead and write that word down. I'm going to change my marker again here from the blue to the red. It's just so much consumption. So that consumption meaning scrolling through Facebook, scrolling through Instagram, scrolling through YouTube, scrolling through every single social media, trying to see every quote on Instagram, these success quotes, these wealth quotes. You know, the wealthy people get up at 5 a.m. in the morning. They grind 16 hours a day. You see these things all the time, right? I was just consuming this stuff, all in the while feeling this fear of missing out. And I was subscribed to so many email lists and so many things. And it would just be a bombardment of constant more. And every time I would unsubscribe from an email list or want to, I'd feel like, no, this is such good information though. This is such a good quote. This is such a good topic, right? And I would just have this fear of like, if I don't continue to learn and study more, nothing's going to happen. Well, nothing happened anyways. I was so frustrated. I was broke and nothing was really going that well in my life. So obviously this model wasn't working, right? But I would defend myself and I would say, well, I'm growing. I can teach my family and friends about this stuff. Like, I want to tell everybody about Think and Grow Rich, or tell everybody about Neville Goddard's work, or tell everybody about XYZ, right? So it felt good about me. It felt like there was a dopamine rush every single time I'd read a great success quote. And then I'd see this thing and be like, wow, that feels good. And then 5 minutes later, I'd feel bad, right? So it's this roller coaster ride. The upgraded identity is you spending your 1,200 hours being it. All your time gets spent in practice. So instead of consuming, you are practicing. And instead of working on the mental plane, you're working on the soul plane, which is emotion. Now, the emotional plane is different. Yes, 100%. What I'm just saying, though, is that you're changing your thoughts here. You're changing your core frequency here. You're changing your core emotional band here, if you will. So all the focus of the 1,200 hours is being it, practicing that frequency, practicing the feeling of it, practicing that identity, practicing thinking that way, practicing feeling that way, practicing acting that way. All their time goes into practicing. So they are the money, they are the soulmate relationship or specific person, they are their desires, they are the feeling of prosperity. They don't know it, they are it. They have become it. So they've upgraded their identity because they're practicing. An easy example here. What if a kid, maybe young kid, wanted to ride a bicycle, okay? And that bicycle has been sitting in the garage. They already have the bicycle. And every day they study towards riding a bike. Every day. They watch the YouTube videos of other kids riding bikes. They see books, maybe very kid-oriented books on riding a bicycle and how you would do it. And they listen to maybe some audio on how to ride a bicycle. And every day they spend an hour looking into how to ride a bicycle. Every day of the year, 365 days a year. So they put 365 hours into how to ride a bicycle. And they're growing and growing towards this 1,200 mark. So we'll say, 4 years later, they start to have 1,200 hours of study. Well, then they're super frustrated because then they see all their friends and their buddies and the people around them. They're all riding bicycles. They're jumping off ramps. They're doing tricks on the bicycles, or they're going for long bike rides with their family. And they're so frustrated because they see other people riding bicycles, adults and kids, but they seemingly just don't understand. Why am I not riding a bicycle? Because they've been consuming content and they never ever got on the bicycle. What do kids normally do? Well, most kids, parents would guide them, just get on the bicycle and I'm going to teach you with training wheels. I'm going to teach you with training wheels, and that's how you're going to start to practice. Practice your balance. Practice your pedaling skills, practicing your steering skills. Eventually, take the training wheels off. I'm right here. I'm guiding you. I'm going to let go. Oh, you crashed and burned. Did you fail? No. You learned how to balance better for the next time, right? And they keep practicing and practicing and practicing, and before you know it, they're jumping off ramps. They're riding on mile bike rides with their family, and they're doing fun things with the bicycles. Practicing. We complicate this law of attraction thing and this manifestation thing and this personal development world by over-consuming and not practicing enough. Do you know why this is? Well, there's many reasons, but one of the core reasons that happened for me, and I've experienced it with working over 2,000 clients now, is that practicing is hard. It's hard. And consuming is easy. It is easy. It is easy to read a book. It is easy to watch a video. It is easy to listen to an audiobook while you're in the car or while you're doing your laundry or whatever you're doing. It is hard to practice. Let's do another theoretical example. What if somebody who is 45 years old wanted to release 30 pounds of weight, wanted to become stronger, just constantly chronically felt overweight, unhealthy habits, overeating of different foods, and just really using it as a coping mechanism for something going on inside themselves. And they're wanting something better in their life. They want to release the weight, they want to feel better, they want to be healthier. Well, every day they read books about diet. They learn about this diet and that diet and this diet and that diet from this teacher and that coach and that guide. They listen to audiobooks on how people have released weight, how they've gotten stronger. They even read books about bodybuilding and fitness and different things because they're like, well, how do I build muscle? What do I do? How many exercises? What reps? What do I do here, right? And they've been doing this 1 hour every single day, 365 days a year. So in 1 year, they've done 365 hours. And we'll say about 3 to 4 years later, they're at 1,200 hours. And they are so frustrated that they look the same when they look in the mirror. They have not changed all that much. And they're so frustrated because they know what to do, but something is not happening in terms of result. But maybe their next door neighbor is the upgraded identity. And instead of reading books about diet and all this learning, yes, of course, I'm going to the extreme. You will need to learn some things, yes, but as this extreme example, say every day for 1 hour they practiced. They went to the gym. They had no idea what they were doing. So the first hour, the first week, the first month, 30 hours were wasted just walking around the gym. I don't even know how to use anything. I don't even know how to press the start button on the treadmill. I don't know how to go in a grocery store and what foods do I pick? Do I pick this? Do I pick this? How much? I don't know. But they started to experiment and practice 1 hour every day, 365 days a year. 3 to 4 years later, they've hit this 1,200 hours. They had a hard time practicing. They went through uncomfort going to the gym, having people stare at them. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm walking around the gym. I have no idea what I'm doing. It's very uncomfortable. They're going in the grocery store. They're looking at descriptions of tags. They don't even know what to buy. It's very uncomfortable. They have to put effort in. They have to get out of their house. They have to go and do something here. But every hour, every day, every week, every month, they started to practice something. Before you know it, they've released some weight, whether they reached their goal or not, because they got on the treadmill. They started to try and experiment different food types and what was working and what wasn't. They start to experience maybe a deeper healing, because that's also associated with health and overweightness, is if you're overweight in any sort of way, you're carrying excess trauma that's causing you to stay overweight. So they're doing all this practicing, and before you know it, they are the thing. They've been practicing. Now, again, just to make this more of a realistic example now, yes, within the 1,200 hours, you would need some guidance probably to speed it up. You need a mentor, personal trainer, somebody to speed up the hours, yes, but they may teach you something and then you practice right away. That's the difference between a mentor and coach and somebody. They may say, the personal trainer may say, okay, I'm going to describe to you that you need to work out your chest muscle here and your quad muscle here and your calf muscle here, and we're going to do X, Y, Z and diet. You may have questions. Yeah, so they do teach you a little bit. So it's a little bit of consumption, but it's a lot of practice. They may talk to you for 10 minutes or initial session for an hour, but then most of the sessions after that are practicing, actually working out with you, making sure you have the right grocery list, making sure you're implementing it right. It's all about the practice at that point, not just consuming more and more stuff. So This can be for any example. It could be like if you want to fly an airplane, become a pilot. If you're just consuming material but you never practice in a simulator or never get into an actual airplane, right? Same thing with driving a car for the very first time. Maybe somebody taught you a little bit, but if you just spend 1,200 hours on viewing how cars work the entire time, you're never going to be able to drive. But if you just started practicing on a real road or in a real parking lot at the start, trying to figure it out, you're going to practice, you're going to start to become a lot better at it. What do you do in terms of law of attraction? Okay. When this shifted my life, I literally made maybe 4,000 to 5,000. I don't remember the exact number, but then following month I made 20,000. Never was able to jump 4 times in 30 days. Now, that was many years ago. We've jumped many times after that, but it's a great example. What happened? I started to practice the frequency. I stopped consuming. I literally put all my self-help books away for a little bit. I said, I'm going to listen to one YouTube video over and over and over and over. In fact, my first mentor, Bob Proctor, who I became a top 10 coach for, showed this all the time. There's a difference between knowing and doing, this knowing-doing gap. Okay, similar idea here. Okay, but the idea was that he would read the same paragraph, same page over and over and over, sometimes for 180 days straight, sometimes for a year straight, right? The idea here is practice the knowing over and over and over, not new consumption. Old consumption is practice. Practice remembering every word of that video. Practice becoming every part of that video. Practice the frequency. Practice, if I wanted this $1 million, I wanted this 20,000 a month, I wanted this whatever it is. Every night, practice, how does it feel to already be there? Practice the feeling. What does it feel like? Let me become familiar with it and constantly be in that place. And as you start to do that, something's going to happen. Your thoughts, feelings, and actions, you're going to start to expect the thing you're wanting to happen. You're going to start to expect it to be much easier than you've ever thought possible. Things are going to start to shift internally where you're like, I just feel like that's my standard now. Thus, your new identity or your new self-image. And as you start changing the internal consciousness, the universe is going to respond through the law of attraction, law of vibration, law of assumption, all the laws out there that you've heard of before, because you've assumed that that is already you. You've stepped into the vibration of it, and an identity is simply just a frequency you're stepping into. So what I would suggest is give yourself a little roadmap, stop consuming, put in some actions, practice the frequency of what you're desiring, start really becoming it, and write this 1200 rule of 1200 anywhere you can. Grab a sheet of paper, write it down next to your office, next to your, if you're driving somewhere, just put in a couple of, just so you see it all the time, rule of 1200. Over and over and over, practicing the frequency. The results should start showing up in astonishing ways. Every client I've ever given this to, I'm telling you, I've worked with over 2,000 people. Every single one of them was able to start altering their life differently when they went from here to here. It's one of my first things I provide most of my clients. If I see that they're having a chronic issue, it's because they're over here instead of over here. Really important. Scott Haug signing off here, and if you wish to receive any support and guidance on this 1200 side, you want to get a customized and personalized roadmap from me on what exactly to do, link in the description below for various courses, group coaching, or even one-on-one mentorship directly with me. They'll help transform your life, heal past trauma, realign your energetics, manifest a lot more money into your world, all the great things that you'd like to have in your life. And if you haven't already, join our manifestation family here. I'd love to see you on the channel. Make sure you subscribe as we put out other great material and exercises and visuals on how to properly use the law of attraction for the best desires magnetizing towards you. And share this with other people. So if you're part of our manifestation family here on this channel, go ahead and share it with other people you know to really make this family whole, make this family part of your culture, who you are. Share this video with somebody who may need this information, this idea, or really take home the rule of 1200. Scott Haug signing off here. I look forward to seeing you in this video if you choose this one to repeat over and over to practice, or in a new video or one of my other ones. I'll see you over there.